Okay, great. Okay, so welcome everybody in world. Hopefully you can hear me. Today is going to be hour and a half, 2-hour session. If you've never programmed inside Decentraland ever, don't worry. We're here to help you create something awesome for the 2-week hackathon. I believe it is spooky vibes, so that is super awesome. Very cool stuff. I'm also a judge, so I just wanted to be very transparent. So I will definitely be helping for the next 2 weeks. I will also be judging the content. So I'm super excited to help you guys build the coolest stuff possible. There's much more to do in Decentraland, as much as we all love community and events. There's some really cool opportunities to be creative in scene build. So let's get everybody outside their comfort zone. Let's get everybody creative. Let's get everybody on the same page with creating scenes in Decentraland. This workshop is going to focus on the page that you can see right here. We're going to work on installing the Decentraland client, which if you are viewing this in Decentraland, you have installed the Decentraland client. Congratulations. If not, no worries. We're gonna go step by step. The next step would be installing the software to create scenes. And then the next step is to actually try to deploy a scene or put some content into a scene. And we have a little deployment extras. I just want to give an overview of what's happening on the slide. So in the screen, you'll see there's a Slido ID. It looks like it might be covered by these little boxes. So let me just move the Slido ID over just a little bit for everybody. I'll put it underneath here, so maybe everybody can see that. So Hugh Pow, again, we're going to take it slow. I'm going to be bouncing between the chat on my other monitor inside Decentraland. I'll try to relay that verbally over chat, answer the questions. We have a Slido as well. That will help tremendously in terms of making sure we have visibility into every question and every question gets answered, or every topic at least gets addressed. So on the screen, you'll be able to see the Slido ID. Also, the QR code links to a Google Drive that has a bunch of documentation. And so I'm going to pull up that Google Drive really quickly and show you guys what's in it. I created 4 files: preparing the vibe, troubleshooting, a cheat sheet, and some prompt libraries. These will be available. They're public. You're more than welcome to go in there and view them at any time. The link to that is the QR code on this chat. So anytime on the stream today, click the QR code, link the QR code, scan the QR code. You'll get to all 4 of these documents. I will also make this link public as well. This link is, let me move that into the folder. This is a live link from Canva. This is also a more visual cheat sheet. There's a few pages. So we have cheat sheets for AI and little hotkeys, things we use, as well as just a little tips, tricks, and reminders for when deploying your scene. So we got a lot of information coming at you, but I'm going to go back to the beginning, and we need to install some software. So if everybody's ready, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna check all the chats. Gonna check Slido before we get started. I also wanted to mention our team at Last Slice created this Angzar Outpost soundtrack. So this is all UGC music on audius.co. We have a playlist, so this will be looping in the background. If it's too loud, please let me know. It's definitely very enjoyable to program with. So if everybody's ready, Canessa's asking for cheat sheets. Yeah, scan the QR code. Open them up. They should all be linked in there. You could always refer to these. And there are so many hotkeys and shortcuts. I couldn't put them all on one document. So please just keep pinging me if you need help with more cheat sheets. So To get started, Decentraland, the majority of people that are in world right now, hello, anybody on X or elsewhere, welcome. We are inside Decentraland. The first step in working with Decentraland is to actually go to decentraland.org, and we need to install the client. So this might be a little slow for people who are already inside in world right now viewing this live stream. If you're on X, hop over to this link, download this software package. This is how you access Decentraland. This is like the Roblox client. This is like the Unity client. This is like the Steam client. This is how you access Decentraland. And so we're going to download this. You're going to sign up. The beautiful thing that Decentraland has integrated over time is signing up with an email, signing up with a Web3 wallet, signing up with socials. So don't feel like you need to immediately jump into the Web3 world and open up a whole new Pandora's box of information that you're not aware of. We are trying to invite people from inside Decentraland, but also outside the Decentraland ecosystem to come in, look at the tools that are available, and help guide you into creating scenes, because it is a really fun experience creating content. There's no one telling you you can't create this. This is an open source, decentralized platform. We don't need any verification from Microsoft or Google or Apple. We don't have to go through any approval process. Whatever you create, you can immediately deploy and view with your friends. Just checking the Slido. Again, we're taking this slow. My favorite pizza, I'm a big pizza guy. I'm a aspiring pizza Iolo. I love a good margarita. If you can make a good margarita, you're a good pizza Iolo. Hugh Powell is asking to clarify, because it's called vibe coding, is this pure SDK vibe coding, meaning worlds can only be made by the scripts? Yes and yes. We are going to have more sessions throughout the 2 weeks of using vibe coding practices, the art of programming with AI, to include 3D model generation. And one of my workshops, I think it's on Friday, we'll get into that. But the code definitely needs to be in SDK 7, so you don't even have to worry about that if you're new. It'll automatically be in the most updated version of Decentraland. And then you can totally use AI, and we actually encourage using AI software to create your 3D models. And there's a ton of free versions. I have a couple video tutorials on how to access those for free and create 3D models. I am not a 3D modeler at all. I am actually terrible at it, but I love using Meshy AI. So for everybody that's still around, we went over a couple questions. We're downloading the client. This is the way to play Decentraland. The next step is what we actually have to download: the Creator Studio, the Creator Hub. So this is a standalone separate piece of software. And this is going to install all of the required components and really like techie code in the background for us so that we can easily create scenes in Decentraland. So we have the client, which is the access of Decentraland. And now we're going to have the Creator Hub, which is the way you create scenes and deploy them. So either on a Mac or a Windows, we're going to go to decentraland.org/create and download the Creator Hub. I'll give everybody a few seconds to do that. I'll take a pause, address the room. If there's any questions, please put them in Slido. Okay, now that we're downloading Decentraland, we've downloaded the Creator Hub, we are halfway there. So I want to make sure that people definitely get the software set up, because this is sort of, once you get it on your machine, you don't have to worry about all these other different things. Once you get comfortable having these two pieces of software, the rest will be a lot easier. the next piece of software is where the juice is, and this is the AI software. So we're going to go to cursor.com. And we're going to use this AI software. Now, give a second for everybody to catch up. Cursor is another software program. So we have three. We have the viewer, which is Decentraland client. I'm trying to do numbers with my hands and my avatar is going nuts. If you can see that, sorry. This is a motion capture avatar. Happy to have anyone, set you up with this. But one, we've got the client. That's how you view Decentraland. Two, the creator hub. That's how you create in Decentraland. And three, we are downloading Cursor. So cursor.com, this is going to have AI integrated into the programming. Now, that's a loaded statement because Cursor can actually help us use the Creator Hub without programming. It's actually an amazing AI agent framework where I can give it a question and it will tell me step by step what to choose in the Creator Hub to make something happen. And so that's what we're going to go over in the second half of this video is we are going to be showcasing how to use those prompts to, one, create code or actually show you which button to press inside the software. It's really amazing. So links and tools for the client. I would believe they should be, I'll create another document, but they should be in the vibe coding Canvas section. Let me put them all in a new document as well. Someone's asking for all the links. So we're going to just copy links for everybody really quickly. And I'll put them in a new document in the folder. All right, we'll put links and get everybody situated. It's funny, the last time I ran a workshop was in 2022 in Dubai. So dusting off the old workshop. Okay, perfect. So I've added a new document. We'll bring that over here. And it's called links, and it's in the shared Google Drive that has the 4 links for what we want to do for all of our softwares. So we'll load these up. Okay, checking the room. Let's see, we have any questions in world? Yeah, we're all here to help. I have 2 eyes and I have 6 screens, so I'm all over the place. So if you need help, please get us somewhere in world or on Slido's the easiest. So Slido, links for tools and clients, is going to be in the scannable QR code. Somebody's asking about the Cursor AI Visual Studio. What are the differences with coding and AI? So, this software is what it looks really daunting, right? If you're watching my screen, you'll see it's like, oh my gosh, all this programming. This is crazy. I don't know how to program. Programming is like writing a book. We have chapters. We have paragraphs. We have sentences. We have subjects and verbs. And so what we're going to do is we need to choose which type of software we're going to use to write our book. They typically all look generally the same. Some have more features or more helpful hints, maybe a built-in thesaurus or a built-in dictionary. Some might not. Some have more. I tend to lean towards Cursor. It looks very much like Visual Studio Code. It's actually built on top of Visual Studio Code. So I prefer Cursor. It is a great layout for showing all the tools that are available, giving you the thesaurus, giving you the dictionary, giving you all the guided help. And it's actually insane, everybody listening, how it actually suggests things. I have converted code from SDK 6 to 7, think iPhone 12 to iPhone 17. And all I have to do is click the tab button. I don't even program. It just suggests Lastraum, what do you think? And I click tab to accept. It's super, super smart, almost like somebody's watching my computer. It's that scary good. Somebody's asking, can we use a free alternative to Cursor AI? Can I recommend some? Cursor actually has a free version. In my video tutorial, I apologize. I'm trying to remember what I said in my video, but Cursor has a 2-week free trial that you get all of the pro features. So right here on the individual plan, you get, they changed it to 1 week. It was 2 weeks, like 2 days ago. I'm not even kidding. But they do have a free version. Linux client, right now there's only one client available from the foundation, and that is the Decentraland client available for Windows and Mac. Free alternatives, yeah, you could totally use free alternatives. Different AI tools, again, Cursor provides a free version. There's Anthropic. You could even use Grok. I use Grok. I pay for Grok, but you could use Grok. You could use ChatGPT, any AI platform that you could get coding experience or coding help out of, totally available to use for the vibe coding session. This is just all integrated. Again, when I sit at my desk, if I want to write a book, I have all of my tools at my disposal right there. I don't have to keep getting up and going to a different desk just to ask AI a question like Grok and come back. Is the stream going okay for everybody? I'm noticing it. I just want to make sure everybody is covered. I know this can be daunting, installing new software, signing up for new software, giving out your email. Here comes the spam, right? But again, 3 pieces of software: Decentraland Client, Decentraland Creator Hub, and Cursor AI. Once we have that, let's go back to our little tear sheet. We're, for the 2-week hackathon, we're actually deploying to a unique situation in Decentraland. So Decentraland is like an open world, right? And you have to buy a piece of land, a parcel. And that's yours. Like in the real world, you can see your neighbors, all that stuff. But for this vibe coding for the 2 weeks, we're actually going to deploy to a world. And think of that as your own private island that no one else can access unless you give them the link. And so you're actually on an island visually. So what we're going to do is program these islands, but you don't own the island yet. And that's totally fine. We can work on that on the next workshops, even on Friday. This is just getting you set up, getting comfortable. You could totally program scenes without owning any name, owning any island. All of this is free. That's what's so amazing, is there's nothing holding anybody back listening who hasn't joined Decentraland to come in and learn. I taught myself programming. My first thing I ever programmed in Decentraland was in 2018, 2019, and I put a billboard up with an image. And it was a big buck bunny, the first movie from Blender, generated by Blender, if anybody is that nerdy to know that. So I was hooked on a billboard with an image. And so we're definitely going to do more than just a billboard with an image, and it's so much fun. So I just want to recap. Again, we've got the Decentraland client. Hopefully people have downloaded that. We don't need to open that right now. We just downloaded it. The Creator Hub, we're about to open and start creating scenes. And then Cursor AI software. So what I want to do now is I want to pivot to opening up Cursor AI. Let me move this Slido over. I apologize. You can't see my avatar. You could totally use other softwares that have Copilot. Totally acceptable. I just like using Cursor. That's just what I chose. You could go down the rabbit hole and test and choose different things. Some people drive a Toyota, some people drive a Honda. At the end of the day, hopefully it gets you to the destination. So I like Cursor. It's very helpful. It's what I've learned from in the past with Visual Studio Code. So with that being said, we've got all three pieces of software hopefully downloaded. Let's actually load up one of those pieces of software. Let's load up the Creator Hub. And I'm going to wait a second. Oh, we've got somebody in the crowd that actually understood my reference to Big Buck Bunny. So shout out to you, fellow nerd. Appreciate that, Argent. Okay, so if I think the Decentraland stream is lagging just a little bit. Again, Slido link is there. The ID for questions, the QR code is there for all of the resources on Google Drive for free. And then what we have done is just open the Creator Hub. This is the software that allows you to create scenes inside Decentraland. You'll notice that you've kind of got a central area here for scenes. These little buttons, scene, learn, lists all of your scenes for you. But before we actually get into the scene, we need to hook up our piece of software from our Creator Hub to our Cursor AI. And that's going to be the magic sauce here. I'm going to go up to the top right and click the settings icon inside the Creator Hub. And you'll notice we get a couple different settings. Always want to check for updates. This shows you on your local machine where all of your scenes will be stored. And then our code editor of choice. This is where we really want to pay attention. Choose the Creator Hub, open it up, the software, and go into its settings wheel and choose Cursor. You can also choose other ones, but for the purpose of the hackathon, I'm just going to reference Cursor. If you're using something else, totally fine. But for anybody following along, we're going to be using Cursor. Okay. Now, the next thing to do is we need to create a scene. We need to get going on creativity. So I'm going to click the scenes button here. And what this actually does is create a whole new view. And it's a grid layout of all of the content that you've ever created with the Creator Hub. None of these scenes are live. These are all local. So you can have almost like a portfolio of all of your creations visually for you here locally without anybody seeing these. I don't imagine a lot of people have ever seen some of these scenes that I've been working on. It's a really nice overlay to see, hey, I want to jump into this forge scene, and I can jump into it by clicking on it. It will load up all of that code that we downloaded. And it's taking a little bit longer on my machine because I have streaming, recording, Decentraland client, Creator Hub, Cursor, 35 browser tabs, music, I think. Or the music stopped. Okay, and it's gonna load the scene. It's gonna load up our scene, and what I'm gonna do now is if I want to go back and I click the wrong scene, up here in the top left is an arrow key. I'm just gonna click that, and it takes me back to the overview of my portfolio, all of my scenes. I'm going to pause and make sure everybody is here at this spot first, because there's no going back. No, I'm kidding. I think the music stopped. 1 second. Okay. Checking Slido. Okay, we're good. So everyone's at the Creator Hub. Fantastic. It's time to create a scene. And what we're going to do is we're going to click New Scene. especially for this vibe hackathon. You could, again, have many different opportunities. You can create a scene today, create a new scene tomorrow, create a new scene in an hour, and have all of these organized. But for now, let's create a brand new scene, and you go to the next step. And we have some templates created by the foundation. I would sort of suggest to take a look at these in your own time. You could definitely just open one up, go into it, view it, and come back out. Maybe learn a couple things, come back to your own scene. So what I want to do is actually create an empty scene. We're starting from scratch, spooky vibes. I'm going to choose a project name. I'm going to type in like prepare the vibes. I can't type. Prepare the vibes. You can name this whatever you like. It can be camel case. It could be open. You know, I could go prepare the vibes if I'd like. No worries. You'll see your project path is already pre-populated from your settings. So I'm just going to go ahead and click create. Okay. And it opens up the scene in the viewport. So I'm going to give everybody a second. Anybody on X, again, welcome. We are programming inside Decentraland. We are vibe coding. We are using AI to program to create visual content in a digital platform, Decentraland. It is free to join, free to create, free to deploy. So come on in and learn a little bit, get creative, try something different, actually visualize your programming. And so that's where we're at right now. We are in the Creator Hub. This is the editor studio version of creating content in Decentraland. A couple overview things. Immediately you see this thing. This is called the viewport in the middle here. Okay. And so as it's aptly named, we're viewing everything in the scene. The left mouse button does not work on purpose because you're going to be selecting things. The right mouse button actually orbits or pans. So I'm holding the right mouse button and I'm kind of going in circles. So I want everybody to get comfortable with the right mouse button going in circles. Kind of dizzy. We're not at a rave yet, but I'm sure there's one later today or tomorrow in Decentraland. But right mouse and you're panning around. The WASD, W-A-S-D keys. So A go to the left, D go to the right, and you'll notice I'm moving around. The S key, zoom out. The W key, zoom in. So you could start to combine them with a right mouse click and a left and a right mouse click and a right and start to view your scene. And you can go 360 in your scene, totally go around your scene if you want, right? Totally go around your scene. There's one sneaky little thing in Kinessa. I hope you're listening because I believe somebody asked you, how do you determine which way is north, south, east, and west when you're adding content in your scene? It's this little object right here. So we have this little object and it will always be in the southernmost, southern west part of your scene. So this is your anchor. You will always know if this is anchored in the southwest, that north and east have these arrow keys. So you'll see if I go this way, you'll notice I should be facing east now based on that orientation because this is no longer in the southwest coordinate. So when you're programming and you're adding things, always keep in mind this is your anchor. This is your reference for where north is. So north would be going to my right and east is going back to our left. Okay, so again, if that was super confusing for anybody, that's okay. You can click on this little icon over here and get all the shortcuts. So that's a brief overview of the viewport. Again, get comfortable, part of learning software is just learning how to manipulate it. So get comfortable panning, zooming, orbiting around your scene. Down on the bottom is where you can import assets from other 3D files, from Meshy AI, from other 3D objects that you have, or there are a ton of pre-made assets from the Decentraland Foundation under these categories that you can click into, scroll down and around, and immediately click and drag and drop into your scene. Pretty cool. So we got the viewport, and then we've got the sort of asset explorer down on the bottom. You can hover over and see what they are. You can mouse wheel in to view it. And so viewport and asset explorer. I'm going to wait right here. I would suggest taking a look at the fantasy and seeing if there's any cool structures in here that we want to use for your scene, possibly for Halloween. There's some scary, moody, dead trees. Very cool. I'm going to check Slido. Nothing on Slido. Perfect. Everybody's following along fantastically. Jokes. Okay, so again, viewport in the middle, asset explorer down on the bottom. Sort of similar in other software on the left, you sort of have your file tree, right? If you're in Windows Explorer or your Mac Finder, they kind of get an overview of your scene folder over here on the left. So you'll notice scene, and then the two objects that we actually added to our scene. Okay, you can click on them to highlight them, which will pull up the panel on the right for your properties. So middle, viewport, bottom, asset explorer, right side is asset details. All right. So is everybody comfortable with that so far? Cool. So the next thing we can do is actually start coding and programming with AI. We got a feel for the Creator Hub. We understand where some of the things are. Again, the viewport in the middle, the asset explorer on the bottom, asset details on the right. I'm repeating myself, so hopefully that you will remember it more subconsciously as the 2-week period goes on. The next thing we want to do is actually open up our cursor code to start programming. And the Foundation has made it really easy with this software. Up here, there's a big button called Code. So we're just going to click on that, and it's going to open up our Cursor AI software. Okay. So once cursor opens up, it might take a second to load at first. Again, mine is taking a little bit longer because I have about 75,000 things running on my machine, so bear with me. I appreciate that. This will give people some time to navigate to the code button and open up their cursor software. Sorry, I haven't. Here we go. Let's pull it back up. I apologize. I was reading the DCL chat inside the Decentraland client. I have that open on another window. Yeah, if the stream is not working out in the client, go to my X account, Lastraum. I should be streaming live there. There might be a slight difference in delay, but streaming the same content. I'm going to close the Decentraland client and try to free up some RAM on my machine here. Okay. And on the left again is our sort of asset list. We can toggle these up here in the right, top right. I can toggle them on and off to help my viewport a little bit. The viewport will always stay there in the middle. Now, the awesome panel that we're about to open is this cube, and that is the AI cube. You can drag this over a little bit, this AI panel, however you'd like. Maybe make it open a little bit bigger to get started. And then you're like, oh, Lastraum, what the heck is all this stuff? So we are actually going to be interacting and talking with our AI agents. Let me check the Slido really quick. Okay, there's no questions. Make sure we're live, because this is where it gets good. Okay, so we've got the AI panel. Again, you can toggle it with this cube. I will admit totally that I use AI every day. If you're a software programmer and you're not integrating AI, you are not going to make it. This has unleashed my programming capabilities 10 times. And that's probably why it shut down, because it was probably trying to open 5 different cursors for 5 different projects that I could work on all at once and sort of quarterback between each agent. Do this, you do that, go do this. Hey, what about this? And I could just consume all of that and again, play quarterback. I think of Cursor and AI as like a team sport. And I am the player and the coach, the general manager, and I have teammates. You can also think of it as you have a junior programmer at your disposal. And so you're setting up the plays. You're telling them what you want to accomplish. They're going to go out and do it. And they're going to come back and say, hey, I did it. Sometimes they tell you, hey, I did it, and I did some other things for you. And that's when AI goes wild. And we can get into that. Cursor, you can have rules for AI and say, hey, don't do this. So for right now, we don't need to worry about that. All we need to know is this panel over here on the right is how we're going to interface with AI, and it's going to help us program our scenes. There's a couple little things I want to show you. This button right here, it might be switched to auto automatically. So you can choose which AI language model, which AI agent, which sort of AI you want to use. I'm going to just toggle it back to auto. Auto is fine for exactly what we're doing. You could change what you're trying to accomplish. As I hover over, you'll see different versions and what they do. Some cost a lot more than others. So I'm just going to go to auto. You'll notice there's a couple other little things up here at the top. These are the ability to like add files so that you can give it context, because what you're doing is you're talking to AI, and right now it only knows the context of this system. It doesn't really know anything else yet. So it has to go and find that, figure it out, and bring it back. So if you can give it a file to understand, beyond what is in your file list on the left, that's super helpful. And that's what you do here in the top. Otherwise, what we want to do is look at these 3 different versions of cursor agents. And before I do that, I want to make sure everybody's on board. Everyone has cursor open. Is my stream on? Yeah, okay. Are we also watching your screen? Yes. If you watch my screen, that'd be fantastic. I want to kind of follow along, but also get you comfortable the next 30 minutes. Again, you cannot break anything. AI is not going to hack your passwords. It's not going to hack your system info. It's not going to send out your driver's license or anything like that. AI is not that good yet. Maybe it is, but we don't have to worry about it in this context. So I just want you to follow along for a little bit. I know it's a little slow, but it could be scary for some people. We're trying to remove that scare and turn it into curiosity, where you might start thinking about, oh man, I wonder if I can do this. And so that gets us into the 3 modes of cursor. And this is as recent as 5 days ago. I had a completely different workshop planned out, but cursor didn't have the plan mode. And the plan mode is so fantastic. So we're going to start there. And I'm going to go back to shout out Tang Poco and KJ Walker in the community. They know this already. The 5 P's: prior, planning, prevents, poor, performance. So if we have a really good plan, we should have a really good scene. And we don't need to create a plan today. But I would just encourage you and suggest over the next 2 weeks, as you prepare, and I'm here available every day, come up with a plan, an outline. If you're going to write a book, if you're going to maybe create a drawing, a painting, something, navigate a city, go to the grocery store, you kind of plan an outline, or some people. This is actually integrated into Cursor. I would actually, 5 days ago, use Grok, say, hey, give me a plan for a hackathon workshop. It would give me a plan. I would drop it in here as an attachment, go to agent mode and say, can you make this happen? And it would do it. Now Cursor has that ability here. So what we can do is, and again, I want you to get comfortable with this. You don't have to do anything that I am doing. You can go beyond. I would like to at least try to have some focus just for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then we can go crazy and I can sit here and help people. This plan doesn't have to be your final scene. Again, we can create 100 different scenes if we want. So what should our plan be? Our plan is going to be creating a spooky scene, right? So I am programming, and I'm not going to verbalize this. I'm going to type this out, and then I'll recap what I'm saying. Okay, so I don't want to waste everybody's time, but you can get, excuse me, super detailed with this stuff, with the plan, and I encourage you to try the different methods of programming with AI and the plans, because it can go super in depth, or you can just do high level plan like this. I think this is a very good starting point. And again, we can do this many times. You can come back and open up a new scene and create a whole new plan and see what that gives you. So this is just about getting comfortable with talking to AI in sort of some structure to help you guide your scene and guide the AI towards an ultimate outcome. And that's what the plan mode does. So I kind of gave it, I said, look, I'm creating a scene in Decentraland, vibe coding hackathon, theme is spooky, want to create something fun but scary, thinking of a haunted house, escape room. I didn't even spell escape on purpose. I didn't spell it right. It's okay. It's going to know what I'm talking about. And then I say, what are your thoughts? I'd like to have 5 rooms. Maybe each room have one item that you have to grab before you go in the next room. And so that's it. That's all I have to do. And I can click this button and watch what AI is going to do for me. Somebody's asking if you have to pay a subscription for each of these. No, you don't have to. With the free version, the hobby version of Cursor, you get access to all of them in a limited capacity for 1 week. Somebody's asking for pricing. I'm just going to pull this up really quick. Again, hobby version for Cursor, free, limited agent requests and tab completion. So again, you get access to it in a limited fashion. Okay. So I hit enter on my silly little plan, and I'm going to scroll up, and it actually immediately responds. And then you could see what it did. It read 4 files. It read the files in my scene, and then it's going to respond back to me. Look at that. It read that I have a dead tree and wooden throne. If I go back to my Creator Hub scene, I've got a dead tree and a wooden throne. I didn't even tell it that I already started placing assets. That's just how cool the software is. Okay, so now that we're back in Cursor, it's going to ask us a couple questions, right? This is planning. We're creating that outline before we write the book. And it's asking me, what kind of interactivity do I want, right? Do I want simple, just find and click the item? I think so. For this situation, I think so. So we're just keep in mind, we're going to choose option A. Let's go to question 2, visual atmosphere. How should we approach the building rooms? Let's see. I think we should do option B, okay? We're going to use 3D models from Meshy AI. So we're going to use option 1, option A for number 1, option B for number 2. And so what I can do down here is do this. Watch, this is really cool. So I'm gonna reply to the first 2. So I'm gonna type 1 and say option A. Okay, and I'm gonna hit Shift and Enter, right, to return. And for 2, I'm gonna say option B. Okay, so for number 3, let's just go simple. So again, option A. Okay, scary elements. What kind of scary elements? Ooh. I think we're going to go option C. I kind of want both. I want atmosphere and jump scares. So I'm going to go option C. And then 5. Do I have any specific themes in mind? I personally right now don't have any themes in mind. So I'm going to say option A. Okay, so I've answered its questions. I could just hit enter. It's thinking, it's reading. I actually love clicking on this because you can actually see the AI work. And it's still working. We haven't got a finality to it yet. I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can see more in the viewport here what's going on. If you notice, we got a new file up here. A .md, which is markdown. So we were viewing our index file, and it opened up to a new file. And it finished. This button is now available to build. So I'm going to take a step back, check the other situations, make sure everybody is okay with the questions. Okay, jump in here. Okay, so what we did was we gave it a plan. We answered some of its questions, and then it gave us a final plan to implement. And this is what's so new and cool in Cursors. I could click this build button, and it's going to build it for me automatically. I don't have to program one thing, not one thing. Okay, but let's go over the plan. So the plan is a haunted escape room, and I am a judge. I am not participating. So if you want to take this concept, please don't feel like, oh man, there goes my idea. I cannot participate. So please take this idea. Okay, so again, the overview, it gives an overview. It gives room theme layouts. Remember, we answered for it to give us some themes. It gave us themes. Technical implementations, again, it's going over step by step what we should do for the core game, the atmosphere. Remember, we said we wanted atmosphere and jump scare. The UI system to show maybe our score or our inventory. How it's going to recommend constructing each room. And then it actually gives a little visual of what your file structure is going to look like. Gives you implementation steps, some assets. Oh, that's cool. Tells you where to get some. And then to-dos. Right? And the crazy thing is you have the option to complete them yourself. Or the newest thing is I can click this build button and it will create this entire scene for me. It's actually wild. That's what I did for the video. The video tutorial of AI prompting and interactivity, which should be up on the Regenesis Labs website. I gave it a plan and it created the entire thing. I didn't have to, it was one prompt and that was it. I click build. So again, a plan is not only for you, it's for the AI. I just had a good thought. If anybody is in the Decentraland Discord and wants to join, I'm happy to join in the voice chat if there's any questions beyond the Slido or in world. So I'm at a pivot point right now where I could click build and we could wait about 5 minutes to have this build out, or we could open up a new chat with AI and I can show you how we can animate some things in Decentraland. And so I think what we're going to do is the second option. We are going to open up a new AI chat, talk to a new agent, get another little new junior programmer from Cursor. Sometimes they're senior. And program something else. If you want me to, I can zoom in more. I feel like I've got my reading glasses on over here, but I'll zoom in even more. Make it easier for everybody. So we're at 10,000 zoom over here. I feel like I could see to the moon with this microscope, this telescope, this scroll. But let me know if this is if this is good. Happy to keep zooming in. So I am not going to build. What I'm going to do is actually go up here to the top right, and I am going to click the plus button, and that's going to create a new chat. And so now I have this little scroll up here of chats, and that's why, you know, you could always adjust your windows so you could see your different chats. So I have a new chat. And this chat, we could switch to agent mode, right? We did plan mode. This mode is agent mode. Now this is going to talk directly to the junior engineer. I keep saying junior engineer because I would like to say that I am quarterbacking this whole project, but they are probably much smarter than me. But this is an AI that is going to actually do stuff. The planner, they just organized everything for us so that when we switch over to agent, we could say, do this. Or we can say we want to do something else. So for our something else, for this tutorial and example, to sort of wrap up the follow along and be available to help other people with their questions in programming, is I am going to say that I want to go back to the Creator Hub and look at my files. And it looks like, again, I have a tree and I have a wooden throne. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to say to the software that we want to hide the tree until 10 seconds and then show up, sort of like scare you. And again, this could be anything else. We could do a ghost or anything, but these are my two assets. And actually, let's do that. I'm going to look for a ghost. Is there a ghost in here? No ghost. Let's look. Is there anything that's scary? You can always pull this up to see more. What is this? An owl. How about the owl? Okay. So now we have an owl. Let's go back to our code. And I'm going to say, I'm going to type this out, and then I'll tell you what I'm saying and why. Okay, so I just said I want to place an owl in my scene. I didn't say the name or anything. Let's see how good it is. I place an owl in my scene. I'd like to have it initially hidden. Right now it's not. And then after 10 seconds, I'd like to show the owl. That's it. That's what I'm going to prompt. Again, I am in agent mode, so this is like task mode. Let's get to work mode. And I'm going to click this arrow key. And what I love to do is understand this stuff right here. It's really cool watching it work. So it immediately responds to you, right? And says, hey, I got you. I'm getting to work. And then it thinks about things. And then it's sort of along the way, it's like, oh man, I noticed some things. And so I'm going to let it work really quick. It's asking me to search the internet if it needs to search the internet. So we're just going to let it run and then we'll recap. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go back to our index.ts file. Remember that file I showed you that had nothing in it? It's now populated with a lot of stuff. Okay, so it has completed. So let's sort of scroll through, and the scroll is going to be a little harder just because it's so zoomed in, but I want to show you what it did. And so it says it helped me out. It gave itself a to-do list. It read some files. It found the entity. It found its position. It found its GLB, the 3D model. Then it says it's going to implement the timer system. So it's breaking down what I asked it to do into smaller module steps. And that's sort of the whole premise of programming with AI is I always try to explain, like, if you can re-engineer things, that's what software is. So how would you re-engineer opening an elevator, getting in the elevator and going to the next level, right? What steps does it take for a person on floor 1 to get to floor 2 in an elevator? If you can actually deconstruct that, that will be so much helpful. That's how you need to think about programming, into little tiny steps. And you can see that here, actually see it with AI. And so it implemented the timer system. It says, oops, it actually fixed itself. It says, wait a second. Then it's going to check for any errors. It's going back to its to-do. It says, oh, I still have some errors. It actually searches the internet. It's trying to find a solution to what it accomplished. It searched locally after finding on the internet. It searched all of our code. It found the proper implementation. It says, perfect, found it. Boom. Made one addition and 2 negatives in terms of lines of the code. It rechecked any errors. And then it gives me this prompt to be like, okay, are you ready to run the scene? And for now, I'm so zoomed in. I'm just going to click skip. Okay? Because it's waiting for me. And then it's going to give you a summary. When it's done, it always gives you a summary, right? So it was waiting for me to either accept or skip its command. And so it gives you a summary of what it did. And this is so cool because in addition to reading step by step what it did, read the summary and see if it's what you asked for. Because 5 to 98% of the time, it's going to be right. And remember, I said you give it a task, it comes back. That sort of 2 to 5%, sometimes it comes back and like sprinkles in a little jazz that you didn't ask it to do. So sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you're like, what the heck? I didn't tell you to do that, right? And that's where you can get really granular with your rules and your guardrails for coding. For this, not so much. I don't want to bog people down. It's already scary enough programming when you look at my screen and you're like, oh my gosh, what is all of this stuff? And that's okay. Again, we're writing a book. This is a different language. It's okay. The summary, it found our owl. It, again, set it to be hidden, created a timer, and then shows the owl afterwards. Okay? Gives us some key features, but it literally broke down my sentence into modular steps. I feel pretty comfortable about that. So what I want to show you are a couple other things as well. In my video tutorials, I go over it. Down at the bottom, it says undo all or keep all. So we just let AI run rampant on our scene, okay? And that's what we get here is green. All this green stuff is what it added, okay? The red is what it removed, right? If you could sort of visually remember, our scene was very basic. Our code was very basic. But now it has all this other stuff, okay? So what you can do, and we'll get into this in other videos as well, as using GitHub, using sort of like a backup, if you will, okay? And so it sort of gives you an internal backup right here where it has changed the code, but I can either accept it or reject it. So you could go test this code right now, and then, which we're about to do, and see if it works, and then click keep all. Or I could click undo all and be like, hey, that was completely wrong. Here's what you need to fix. So without like actually touching this code, I'm going to go back to the Creator Hub. Okay. So we went from the Creator Hub to Cursor, right? Talk to Cursor. It gave us code, changed our code. I haven't given it a yes or no if I like it yet, because I'm going to go back into my Cursor, or my Creator Hub, and click this preview button. This is where the third piece of software comes in, the Decentraland client, and it's going to open that up so we can actually preview and view our 3D digital scene. I'm reading some of the chats. It feels like I have a software team. I absolutely love that. Totally. You could set a plan, go make a pot of coffee, come back and have a plan for your scene done. You could, tell AI to go create something for you, answer a phone call, and then come back and have it done for you. It's pretty amazing stuff. I thoroughly enjoy programming with AI. Okay, so here's my scene. Where's my owl? Not here. Anybody counting? Are we counting? Anybody counting? I haven't counted yet. Has it been 10 seconds? No, there it is. Nice. There it is. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I didn't program one thing. Didn't program one thing. So, I'll let everybody catch up. It's again, super basic stuff in terms of I just made an owl appear. But when you layer that in with something else, like, okay, what do we want? Show the owl, make it fly. Right? So going back to that plan and sort of really modularizing your ideas. If I wanted a haunted house, right? An escape room, but maybe I want this owl to fly around in a circle outside the house, right? Well, that sounds like a pretty daunting task for somebody that's never programmed. But with AI, all you have to tell it is exactly what you want to say, but you have to be very specific. So I want to say, I want the owl to start here and go in a big circle around the scene continuously for 5 seconds. And it will do that. It will program that for you. So the more you can break it down into steps, the easier it is for the code to understand exactly what you want and give you exactly what you need in your code. And it'll do it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to close up here, top left. Click on here and you can click exit. I'm exiting that for now, just for now. You can keep it open, and every time we save our code, it will refresh and update. We don't have to keep closing it, but I'm closing it just for tutorial purposes to show you that I'm back in my scene. And you'll notice that my owl is visually there, but because I programmed it to turn it off immediately and then turn it on after 10 seconds, in the previewer, it showed up. So I'll go back to my code. And again, this is the scary view, right? This is like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? But you just tested it, and it worked. I mean, I didn't count to 10, but I think it did work to 10. So I'm going to keep all. And notice what happens. It says, oh, the user loved everything I did, so I am going to just get rid of all the green and red because they love what I did, and now that becomes their code. I'm going to move this, and again, I can just toggle this quickly so you can see. So this is all my code. I mean, this is, again, this is what it came up with. Code is top down, just like reading, top down, left to right. We don't have to get into the crazy specifics. We can work on that in other hackathon sessions, but just wanted to show you guys exactly what it kind of came up with in terms of coding. It wrote 43 lines of code for us just by telling it what I tell it. I place an owl in my scene. I'd like it to have it initially be hidden. Then after 10 seconds, I would like to show the owl. And it went and researched. It corrected itself. And then it actually implemented exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to check and see if there's any questions. Somebody is asking, great question. Is there a megabyte size limitation for 3D files for everyone on the hackathon? So I'm going to go to the Creator Hub. And so when you deploy to a world, right, your island, think of it as a domain, right, like GoDaddy domain, and have some hosting. And the hosting is 100 megabytes. So I would implore you to find assets or create assets that are under 100 megabytes. And so I will type in, let me type in this link as well. This is a good link. I'll put this in the links. Where's my links? This is the builder overview. And this shows you all the worlds that you own, all the names that you own inside Decentraland. Worlds names overview. Okay, so again, what we're going to do in this hackathon is we're going to deploy to our own private island. But to do that, you need to own a domain name, right? Just like any other website, you need a domain name, you need some hosting. When you buy a Decentraland name, you get the hosting and the domain all packaged in one for $30. That's it. One-time fee. You own it for life. And you get 100 megabytes. And so if you buy a couple of them, they actually stack the size. So you notice I have click view details. It'll tell you based on the entities or the ownership of items that I have inside the Decentraland ecosystem, how much storage space I have. So because I have 17 different domain names with Decentraland, I get 1,700 megabytes. So I could create Grand Theft Auto if I wanted to, which I would love to. But you get my point. One domain name comes with 100 megabytes of hosting. That's $30. If you want to buy 2 domain names, that's totally fine. And then you just have one island on one of those domain names, and the other one is sort of like your storage facility with 100 megabytes. Does that make sense? So once we're ready to go, we can deploy. 100 megabytes is the limit. It's $30 to own a DCL name to deploy on your private island. And again, deploying to your private island back in the Creator Hub, that studio, the editor where we're doing all of our creation. When you're ready to go, next to that preview button is the publish button. They make it very easy. And again, do you want to publish to the city, which is land, parcels? Think like we're all in Beverly Hills. If you have some land, you want to publish over here in Beverly Hills. Or if you want to publish to your own island, this is where we go. Super easy, super visual. Just click on the name that you own. You probably only own 1 or 2 of them. And you could deploy here. If you notice, I own the NFL Network. Anybody that works there, please, shout out. The name is probably for sale. Make me a good offer. Let's go. Bull market 2025. Shout out NFL Network. I bought some hilarious ones. I don't know. I've owned these for years. So each one of these, has 100 megabytes. So you just click and choose where you want to deploy. So, Scotch and Soda, one of my favorite clothing brands. And I click publish. It'll give you an overview of everything that you did in your scene, and you just click publish. Tells you it'll be ready in about 15 minutes because it needs to go through an optimization. So I just click continue, and I publish my world. Now, you don't have to do this until the very end of the hackathon. You can still preview, you can still test, all locally right here with the preview button with those 3 pieces of software we downloaded today. The Decentraland client is the previewer. The Creator Hub is what you're viewing. And then Cursor AI is that software that helped us program some things. So those are really the only 3 things to get started. If you want to buy the NFT name today, go for it. If you want to deploy to your world today, make sure you own that name and deploy it. And then everybody can go visit it by typing in the chat. And again, these are all, I have no idea what's here. So you just type in go to and you go to your name. I have no idea what's here. Maybe nothing. And that's how people access it, right? I'm going to my private island. Think of it as like a Minecraft custom server or a Roblox custom server or a Fortnite custom server or GTA custom server. And you'll notice this is my private island. And it has a ton of content that our studio has created over the past 4 or 5 years that we have placed in this scene. So this is well over 100 megabytes, which is why if anybody was watching, you notice that there's not a lot of storage for me left, but you'll notice there's a lot of different content here. So not only, there's a lot of interactivity going on here, as you can see. So we can work up to this, but just know that this is my little private island, and this is what it looks like or would look like when you go after that 15 minutes. You just type go to into the name that you want to go to. I'm going to jump back to Beverly Hills, the Genesis City, and join you guys back at the Hackathon Hub and take a pause for questions. Okay, so a couple questions, but are storage stack going to serve for use it only in one of your worlds? Yeah, so so if you'll notice, I'll answer that question. Somebody asked, do storages stack for one world? And absolutely. What I just showed you in the Lastraum world, you'll notice here in the link that I put in the documentation, the different scene sizes, okay? So if you notice, I've got 1,800 megabytes because I have 17 names and some mana. One of my worlds, the NFL Network, has 1.5 megabytes out of 100. This one has 55. Now, if I go to the next page, you'll see the Lastraum account. It's so big it doesn't even recognize it. It's like over a gig. So you can own two names, have 200 megabytes, and use all 200 on one name. That is possible. Somebody else is asking about the limitation across vibe code participants in terms of size. The more names you have equals more you can place assets, which creates advantage. I'm going to leave that up to Toxic, Waifu, and Gino from the Regenesis Labs to answer. I think they went over the criteria yesterday. We can get back to you on that as well. I love more content, but I understand the concern. So I would say let's hold off on that. No one is going to reach 100 megabytes right away, at least in the first few days before we answer that question. And so again, just to recap, like all of this is free. So, downloading the Decentraland client, the viewport, Roblox, right? I would say it's free to create in Roblox as well. This is sort of a similar setup. Download the client version, the view version, download the Creator Hub, and download AI, which is also free. And let me pull up that link that we have all of our other stuff to... What's this? It's all free. And so if anybody's listening back on X or anywhere, I would totally challenge people to get in here. Even if you're in Decentraland for 5 years or whatever, even if you don't make anything cool, even if it's, it feels terrible, at least you are pushing yourself to be creative, to get outside your comfort zone and do something completely different. That's what I loved about pizza, and that's why I have a pizza business now, because I fell in love with it, and I got outside my comfort zone and started creating and making amazing pizzas and won a couple of awards for our pizzas. So you never know what's going to happen from moving a simple little owl to making a complex Halloween haunted house scene. I just would love anybody listening that's not in the Decentraland ecosystem. It doesn't matter if this is the metaverse or Web3. This is just a visual environment, another way to be creative in a digital space. It's all free and open source. Anybody can join. There's some awesome prizes as part of this hackathon. So, definitely join. I wish I could. I had to go back and forth about being a judge or not because I would have loved to have been a part of this. I use AI all the time. Every day, every minute. I even used AI to create the documents that you see in the Google Drive. Those were from AI, copied and pasted. So not saying we're cutting corners, but this is how you can become a better, I would say, creator, just or in life, understanding knowledge and consuming knowledge. Let AI go do the hard stuff. You learn, you implement what it wants, what it came back with, what you want, and see if it matches the desired outcome. I think the last thing I want to show is I'm going to jump back into Cursor, and I'm going to open up my AI panel, and I want to just touch on one last thing. We did plan, we did agent, and I want to ask. And it gives you a little placeholder. This is the ask, learn, and brainstorm. So if you don't know what the heck you need to do or want to do or what something is, this is where you can ask it. So if I want to learn more about like, hey man, this looks really cool and complex, but like how does the timer work? Like how does it actually work? I can ask it that. And this will give us a response with examples without actually changing the code. So the ask mode is literally ask it anything. I'm going to expand this. I mean, it goes crazy. Okay. And so it actually tells you what is going on. And this is great because when you have an idea but you don't know how to implement it, you might shut down and you might say, dang, this is really hard. Or look at this code. This is like really crazy. I don't know if I could do this. But if you plan it and then you ask the agent to implement it, and then you can even use the ask mode of like, what did you just create? And you could start to learn what 60 FPS means. 60 frames per second, right? You might not know that. You've never made a video game before, never created visual content in your life. That's totally fine. But now you understand when people talk about FPS, frame rates, things dropping, maybe that'll start trickling in your mind. So what you're doing here is really just like consuming content and expanding your knowledge almost beyond programming, and just learning. And so that's what's so cool. Learning, maybe you couldn't think of how an actual timer worked, and that's totally fine. It'll tell you how it happened. And so it will literally break it down for you. It'll maybe give you a suggestion of what else or a different alternative. And it always summarizes it for you. So I'm going to step back, see if there's any questions. No questions. Check in world, any questions? Again, I would say this is probably the least scariest thing to do at all. I would say public speaking is like, I get more afraid of doing that than working with AI and trying to program something I don't know how to do, because AI knows how to do a lot of things. And so to recap, we have plan mode, we have agent mode, we have ask mode, right? Come up with a good plan. Ask us if it's a good plan. Ask me, hey, Lastraum, is this a good plan? Does this make sense? Is this a good prompt? Try it yourself. See what it gets back. It might be gobbledygook, and you're like, damn, that sucked. Need to improve my prompt. Agent, go do stuff for me. Go out there, little junior programmer. Go fix some code. Go create some code for me. Then we can test it, and if we don't know what's going on, we can ask it, or we can even ask it, like, how should I go about moving an owl around the scene? Right? Like it's flying. I'll just do that. And I misspelled should on purpose. It doesn't matter. It knows it. And look how fast it is, right? Tells you what it thinks it should do in terms of the most optimal solution. And I just want to like super recap. I haven't programmed one thing. I have programmed zero. I literally have not programmed anything. So like you might be like, oh, Lastraum is a master coder, master programmer. I have not programmed one thing at all. I didn't even create the 3D models. I didn't do anything. All I did was tell AI to do stuff. So I can't take credit for anything. But I can take credit for being here and pushing you guys to get outside your comfort zone. So let's see what it said. Flying owl animation approach. Wow. It tells me a tween component. Maybe you don't know what that is. What is a tween? You've never heard of tween. Maybe you don't know like 3D translation and animation. Okay, well, you could ask that. What is a tween? Right? And you could literally break this down every step and keep going back, right? And so it tells you how a tween works. I didn't even get past the first phase of my first question. And so you could literally go down the rabbit hole of asking things if you want to. If you want to learn more about what's going on, again, I'm not programming anything. I'm just understanding more and then telling the software, okay, cool. So my first question was, how should we make it fly? It says, let's use a tween, or it gives you an alternative, maybe a custom system. And then 3, I didn't even suggest this, right? So it says to make it look more realistic, we could also rotate the owl to face its flight direction, right? Like think of a bird flying. If it was flying like east but facing north, right? You don't think of that. So, when you're thinking about these things, it sort of there's that little jazz that I was telling you about, that AI will be like, hey, so if you're going to make a bird fly, you should probably point it in the direction that it's flying. And so that's how good AI has gotten from Ask Jeeves and like the original Yahoo stuff, is like not just like, what is the circumference of the earth? It's like, hey, I want to make a bird fly around a haunted house. And it's like, oh, okay, are you sure you don't want to like rotate the bird as well as it flies? So definitely ask it questions and it will give you a little jazz, right? And then here's some more jazz. Flight patterns. I didn't think of that. I was just thinking of like a circle. Oh my God, it gives me a figure 8 pattern. Okay. So now like it's helping you expand the idea. The original concept was just showing an owl. Then it turned into, I want to have it flying around the haunted house. And now I've got different flying patterns, which is like insane. And so that's the ask mode, right? It's very powerful, very, very powerful. You don't have to go to Google, to Grok, or anywhere else. Just ask it right in here. I unfortunately am not part of the cursor, so when you ask it here, I can't respond, but I am definitely available throughout the 2 weeks if you do have a question. I may or may not just tell you to go ask cursor. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. But I will definitely help as much as I can, as best as I can, to make you understand what's going on. There's one thing that I was thinking of trying to do is click on this build button, but we already did what we wanted to do. So I'm going to take a step back, see if there's any questions. Someone says, I hope I didn't miss it. Can Cursor AI also create 2D UI? If yes, could you maybe demonstrate something? Okay. I will say for now, I think we could end the official workshop session. If anybody needed to get anywhere else, I know we've almost hit the 2-hour mark. There's 7 minutes left, so I kind of want to do a question and answer, and maybe we can showcase or demonstrate one of these questions. But to recap the entire workshop, this was day 1, day 0, day start, get going, get your butt in the chair, downloading 3 pieces of software and trying to talk with into AI to create something. So we downloaded the Decentraland client. We downloaded the Decentraland Creator Hub. We downloaded Cursor. We opened the Creator Hub and created a scene. We added a couple assets. We clicked the code button and opened up Cursor. We got a plan from Cursor about what we want to accomplish in this scene. We then opened up a new chat and said, you know what? Let's see if we can make an owl disappear and appear. And it went into agent mode and accomplished that. We then asked in ask mode, how do we how do we make the owl fly? And it gave us some suggestions with some jazz and some riz in terms of like a figure 8 flying pattern. So AI can plan things for you, it can do things for you, and it can answer things for you. So using these 3 pieces of software, the client, the Creator Hub, and Cursor, we're going to be creating some amazing scenes, amazing content over the next 2 weeks. I am available. Dr. Krillo, Nico E are all available people inside the Decentraland community. If you're outside the Decentraland community and don't know who we are, find me, Lastraum, very easy, Lastraum on X. I'm all over the place, Discord. I am an open book during this hackathon to help you guys with AI. The last thing I'll say is I programmed 0 of this today. I did not program one thing. So I can't accept any excuse from anybody that they didn't want to try because it was too hard. Because I programmed none of this. And it's going to be fantastic. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. That's half the battle, is just showing up. The next half is don't worry, your computer's not going to blow up. So start talking to AI and start messing things up, start breaking things, start figuring out what you don't know anymore, asking it to tell you, get comfortable using AI. And then the next sessions over the next hackathons, the workshops over the next 2 weeks are going to be fantastic. We've got an event planned tomorrow. We've got more hackathon workshops throughout the week. I'll be back on Friday to do more interactivity. Maybe taking this owl and actually making it fly, clicking on buttons, doing things like that. So there's a lot of content here for people who are from Decentraland, but also people who are not in Decentraland. The new client, the way to access has come so far. It's so much better. It's so good. Decentraland looks visually amazing. If you're in the scene right now, fantastic. It looks really nice. You can see here on my screen, this is everybody paying attention. We are in Beverly Hills, Genesis City. So to wrap up, thank you again so much. Please download those 3 pieces of software, replay this video. There's a Google Drive of content and links and tips and tricks, all these different things. There's so much content. The bottom line is Creator Hub, Cursor, ask it things to do, and then preview them in the Decentraland client, and we're all here for you. So thanks for showing up. I'm going to answer questions and do demos. I am here. So if anybody wants to peace out, totally understand. I am going to answer some of these Slido questions and show some of the UI, because I know UI in Decentraland specifically is very difficult for people. So let's merge my understanding of AI and the UI with how the AI can interpret it. So let me answer this Slido question really quickly. SDK limitation, how does Cursor identify them since it doesn't have the whole SDK, the newest package plugging? How can you see the errors of this limitations? So, I think when we talk about limitations, we need to understand exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And so the question is, I hate answering a question with a question, but what are you trying to do? Are you trying to have integrated physics? Well, that's possible, but that requires an external package. That's not part of the Decentraland platform, right? That would be like an aftermarket body kit for your car, right? That doesn't come with your car, so you'd have to go get that from somewhere else. But AI would know how to put it on your car. So the limitations are sort of bound to what you're trying to accomplish. Can this Cursor write Python script and run it in Decentraland? No, because that's just not possible. That's like saying, hey, I want to write a book in English, but then have a couple pages in Chinese. No. So, the limitations are bound by what you're trying to do. If that makes sense. And if you notice, Cursor will search the internet it will search the files. It'll search all over and be like, hey, I really couldn't figure this out. Here's a suggestion, or help me understand more. But very rarely does that ever happen. So to get to the 2D UI question, if you're still around, this was an anonymous question, I'm not sure who put this in. So let's create a UI really quickly, because a lot of people have trouble with that. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Gino. Sorry. Thank you, Kim. Just reading the chat now. DCL Chess has been building and stuff. Love it. Appreciate it. Let's do some UI. Okay, I'm going to try not to program. I really don't want to program. But what we want is a counter, like a number counter for how many items we pick up. And this is going to be our session on Friday, but I definitely want to have it as part of this recording so that it's all integrated into the same video for whoever answered or asked this question. Okay, so again, we got our Creator Hub. There's no UI. There's no UI at all. So we're going to go into our cursor. I'm going to go back into agent mode. And let me type this out, and then I will speak on what I'm saying. Okay, again, I have not programmed anything. I just want to keep reiterating that because it's not scary. If you don't know how to program, it's not scary. It's actually so empowering. So we had the index.ts file. We had it open. We watched it go from nothing to 43 lines. We opened up the UI.tsx. This is the UI file, okay? So let's click enter over here. All I said was I want a 2D UI counter for items that we picked up in the future. Let's see what happens. Okay, and I think it's done. So let's sort of scroll back up. I'm going to pull this panel over in the middle so we get a better understanding of what's going on here. I'm going to scroll up to the top. I'm super zoomed in, so I apologize for that, but that's okay. Okay, so again, it immediately understands what you're trying to accomplish. It reacts immediately, responds immediately. It gives itself a to-do list. We'll always do that. And then you notice the to-do list is like 0 out of 5, and then it immediately starts finishing them off. See that? Isn't that so cool? And you could dive in and click, right, to see what it was doing for each one of these, right? You can expand these and see what it's doing. You can click on reading this, right, and it'll tell you what it's doing. It found an error. It's correcting itself. Again, I haven't programmed any of this. Found no errors, and then it gives me summation. Perfect. We're done. A 2D UI counter positioned. I didn't, again, purposefully didn't tell it where to position it. So this is the little jazz, the little riz of AI, right? We're talking about a UI counter. And so because the general knowledge of like UI counters, it's not really ever in the center of your screen. I think the same person asked inside Decentraland, hey, can you also show a welcome screen with a button to close? So if and I can do that too, it will probably, I would polymarket bet this, that it would put the welcome screen full screen and the button in the center of the screen without me telling it to do so. Just because it understands that awareness of like a 2D counter is usually in the corner for your video games, right? You don't have your items in inventory and ammo splat dead center. Pretty amazing, right? And it came up with a clean design. I didn't say what the heck design at all. It's pretty amazing, the riz that you get from AI. the more specific, right, the sort of less riz you get, because it will do exactly what you say. So I gave it a little room for ambiguity and a little room to just kind of like come back to me and impress me, right? So it also created a function how I can update. Amazing. Gives me an example, tells me what to do. I think the next thing to do is don't worry about the code yet. I'm going to go and test this out. I want to see exactly what this did. So I'm going to go back to the Creator Hub, and I'm going to click Preview. If you had closed your preview, you could always just keep the preview open, and any time you save a file, it will update automatically and refresh your client, the viewport. So let's wait for that to load. I have a problem with this. Does anybody know how to get out of game mode? If you're listening, Foundation, I really can't stand that it takes up my full screen automatically. That's one real like thorn in my side. I don't know if that's a Mac setting, if that's a Lastraum issue or not, but I have the window open on another screen. So just bear with me while I get out of game mode for a second. Yeah, I don't know how to get out of game mode. It's pretty frustrating. I'm going to open up preview one more time and try this. Yeah, I'll put it over here. Hopefully it'll show up over here. Nope. I apologize, everybody. Bear with me while I try to pull up the preview in the window that I needed to. 1 second. Okay, I got it. Thank you for the patience. And so if you notice, up in the top left, we have UI. Amazing. Now I can't really see that, so I'm going to just keep this preview open because I don't want to mess with it anymore. But it created a UI, and again, I haven't programmed anything. Let me see. So you can't set the winning mode there. I hate to set it windowed. Okay, yeah, it looks like this is a personal preference with the previewer, but I think we'll all get used to it. So, I stepped off the scene. Let me get back here. So items is 1 up here in the top left. It's, kind of up here where I don't want it up in the top left now that I see it, right? And again, I didn't program any of this. I viewed it, I tested it, it looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept this code, like good job code, okay? I accepted it, but now let's make a little bit edit, and let's say, okay, like, great job. Move to top right, change BG to red. That's all I'm going to say. Again, I haven't programmed anything. Sorry about that. I was answering in here. Look, it was so fast. I couldn't even have time to go get a cup of coffee. So you'll notice now, since I accepted the changes from before, there's only smaller changes now, right? You can visually see, I just touched my screen like you were here, but you can see it only changed 2 lines, right? And if you notice the change, can anybody notice that? Look, they're almost identical, except it went from left to right. So if I open up the preview, boom, baby, left to right, and it changed it to red. I'm answering some questions. Yes, I will be available in DMs. You just have to add me as a friend because of a lot of spam over the years. So feel free to reach out to me on Discord as well. So again, UI, I didn't program any of that. Again, on Friday, we're going to go more into like the interactivity and things like that. I think just to sort of wrap this up, one last thing, just one last stretch of using the UI, right? So amazing, great work, keep it, great job. And what I also let's try and do this. Like, can you also create a welcome screen with a button that removes the welcome screen, right? Welcome screen. I'm not going to say full screen. Let's just see what it does. With a button to close the welcome screen. Okay. Let's just see what it does. Again, 0 programming. Everyone might think, oh my God, I can't follow him. I have not programmed 1 line of code in 2 hours. Now, don't tell my bosses. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do this. Okay. So again, look at that. Boom. Created the code. To-do list. Started checking off the to-do list. Gave us a summary of what it did. I'm nervous, but let's do it. There's our welcome screen. Sometimes you get some good riz, and sometimes you don't get good riz. And that was not good riz. So what we can go back, though, is it's close, right? Like, oh, it created another thing for us, okay? So let's say, nice job, but we want it full screen centered, okay? Again, I keep harping on it, but I really want you to like ingrain in your head, you don't have to program. And I mean, before I could finish that sentence, it finished it. I'll open up the thing again. And it looks like it's a little off, right? It's still at the top. So I'm going to click accept for now. Right? And it's not correct, right? So what I can say is start drilling down into like exactly what I want. I can say it's still floating at the top. Right? Needs to be centered. And you can just keep going on and on, right? And so it says, oh, wow, you're right. And it'll keep going down this path. I'm eager to test it out, like to get in there and start programming, but I haven't programmed anything yet, so I'm going to just keep clicking. But I noticed there's one thing where it's not really... I notice one thing that it needs to do. It's this down here, but it gets really good code. It gets you almost there. UI is finicky. UI is interesting, and Decentraland always has been. So I'm here to help, like really refine your UI, because you can do amazing things, and it's like the main justified column, right? And my keyboard is losing battery, but it doesn't matter. It'll figure out that gibberish. and it's still up at the top. So, this is where you would rely on us. Like, I could have easily gone in there and done something different. But for the demonstration purposes, this is where, if you hit it a few times where you're not liking it, again, you don't have to keep all. You could just undo, right, and go back to it. As soon as you undo it, it'll go back to the previous state of the code. Okay, so just want to let you know that it is possible to use AI to come up with the UI stuff, but it doesn't always get it right. I'll just be honest. So I'm here to help, and I know other people are too. So Onster's asking, it actually does alter the code. So let me show you. But so if you notice up here in the top on this tab, there's no little blip. As soon as you start editing, you'll see the little blip up there. See that white blip? That means there's a change. If there's a change, it will not be integrated in your scene, right? So when you edit the code and say, like, I want a new button under the counter, right? Watch what happens. Nothing's red, nothing's green. This is my code. It's going to change it, but you'll notice that it actually saves the changes. For you, though, right? Look, so down here in the green, I can scroll down where the green is, and this is the huge block that it created. Notice, look, up here, there is no change blip. But look, it added an action button for me right underneath the items, right? And so the red and green, that code is live. If I like it, I can click keep all. And see, it goes from green to like, hey, this is now your code for good. If I undo that, it goes back to the step of saying, hey, this code is in the code, right? It's here. Do you want it or not? And you can undo or keep it. Now watch, if I undo it, it'll delete all of it. And so I can accept that, right? And now I can move on. You'll notice there are no changes. Nothing happened. The scene didn't reload because it was already saved. And I'll say, now every action button add one to counter, right? So now we're linking our two UIs up, and you'll notice it's removing some stuff and added one thing, right? And if I go back, it starts working, right? Pretty amazing stuff. And so so that code is integrated into my scene. Right? It's just like, hey, man, or hey, woman, like, are you good with that? And yes, I am. And it visually removes the old code. So, like I said, it does UI pretty well, but not the best. Okay, so I think that kind of covers everything. We went a little bit over, but I wanted to do a demo. If anybody has any other questions in World or on Slido, please let me know. Again, I have programmed 0 of this in 2 hours. 0. So that's what we want people to get comfortable with. You're not learning a full Udemy course of CodePen or whatever of new language. We want to empower you guys to leverage AI and let it do the work for you. So hopefully this was a great kickoff. Hopefully you're excited. Hopefully you're not scared. Hopefully you're eager and curious. You want to be creative. I'm here to help with your plans. Remember the 5 Ps. Prior planning prevents poor performance. We're plan. We'll distill those plans down into little actionable items, and we'll get your scenes being amazing. I can't wait to judge them all. If you have any questions, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Discord. There's going to be amazing sessions coming up. There's going to be events and I believe a music fest tomorrow, I believe. So stay tuned to all the events on the Decentraland event page. I look forward to Friday. I'm going to be tuning in to every hackathon workshop. I'll be available again in World Discord, part of the Slido. I am here to help you program less and use AI more. Thank you so much, everybody.